Shalom, Kahala Yahweh, Bashem Yashai, Bashem Rukok Kodash. Double honors my teachers, the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and mercy to the elect, with the house of David reborn again in this generation. And Shalom to the 130 Yasharallah, who today are known as the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, who before losing our true heritage, were known as, and still are, the true Hebrew Israelites of the Holy Bible. In today's lesson, we're going to talk about the event that took place in Buenos Aires, in Argentina, regarding the lightning strike that hit the statue of St. Peter, which removed the keys and the halo around its head. But before we get into that, let's read this. This is 1 Corinthians 2:15. But he that is spiritual judgeth all things, yet he is judged of no man. So what's happened, and this actually took place a while ago, like 2 months ago, but I just recently read about it and I thought it was very spiritual, the significance of it. And not only me, but a lot of people within the Catholic diocese, or at least the attendants, also can see that this is a spiritual sign, hence why it got brought to my attention. But let's go and read this article and we'll get into it a little bit more. It says, lightning strikes Apostle Peter's statue in Pope Francis's former diocese. Now, Pope Francis, he is the Pope of the Vatican Church right now. This is a devil, okay? This man has nothing to do with the truth of the Bible. This guy is a Jesuit, which basically means the Jesuits, they are the religious side of the Knights Templar. Again, if you're unfamiliar with the Knights Templar, they are the forerunners to the Freemasons and also the Jesuits. Okay, what happened is the Knights Templars. It's lucky I have to go into this, Akim, but again, as the apostles say, man, if you don't understand the history, you will not get the mystery. Okay, but it says, but the Knights Templars were basically a bunch of Edomites that joined with the other nobility of Europe that was basically ran by, Jake, so-called Negroes, to try to take back the Holy Land of Israel from the Arabs who had conquered it. Well, they eventually lost to the Ottoman Empire, or Aslaki. It was called like something else. It was like the Caliph of Islam or something back then. But this happened in 1291 AD. Now, the Knights Templar were the knights, which, like I said again, were made up mostly of Edomites. And these guys were vicious and very effective with their weaponry, just as Esau's spiritual blessing would make them. Well, after the fall of Achan, right, that was what the battle was called, the Knights Templar go back to Europe, but they basically stay in this area right by Switzerland, France, by Germany, France, and Italy, and they carve out a space for themselves. And they call this place Switzerland or Swaziland. Okay? And let's read this. This is in 1291 AD. It says, founded 2.5 months after the last crusade battle and fall of Achan, which was the last stronghold of the Knights Templars, in May 18th, 1291. The Templars used their vast fortune, newly gained power, to help establish the Edomite banking establishments, which would lead to the rise of Edom, the Renaissance, and the bottomless pit. So again, the Edomites, when they came out of the Caucasus Mountain, they went into the European lands, and they were ultimately the servants, right? They were the laborers. Now, eventually, some of them rose up in power, and some of them became knights, right? Because of their deeds that they did, or just their ability to fight. Okay, well, these Knights Templars, after gaining all this money, and pretty much after the fall of Achan, it's suggested that they basically robbed a lot of the temples over in Jerusalem before they fled, right? So you could see mentions of this in that movie National Treasure with Nicolas Cage. They show how they stole this, the keys of Solomon or something like that. But basically, they just robbed Jerusalem, okay? And that's where, with that money, they established Switzerland, okay? And like it says down here, they eventually would go on to finance a lot of the Edomite families, such as the Medicis, which, when you look at the Medici family, they were the ones that helped the Borgia family get into the Vatican and eventually take over it. And we all know about the, Cesare Borgia and his father, Rodrigo Borgia, who was Pope Alexander VI. Well, it all started right here, right, with the Knights Templars. Well, eventually, the Knights Templar were found to basically be pagan worshippers and to be worshiping of Baphomet. And it got to a point where the Vatican feared them and feared that they would lose power to the Knights Templar. So on Friday the 13th, it was decreed that they should be put to death. Okay? It tells you here, it says, after rising to power quickly, the Knights Templars were ordered destroyed by Pope Clement and King Philip of France. Few would escape to form the secret society of Freemasonry, and it should say also Jesuits. But so this is why Friday the 13th is such a bad, has a bad reputation, is because it's really one of the major downfalls of these Edomites who are in power today. Well, like it says there, after about 100 years, 1307 AD, and in 1390, so close to 100 years, they eventually reformed, and they came out of the shadows, and they came as the Freemasons. Now, eventually, they also would try to infiltrate the church, and when they did that, they came back as the Jesuits, okay, and they did that to try to infiltrate the Vatican Church, the organization that had destroyed them, and that's what you have today. You have this man here, who is a Jesuit, the first Jesuit Pope, right? And this guy, as you've seen, he's done a lot of devastating things to the Catholic Vatican, right? And the thing about it is that the Vatican was always a false prophet or false church, but this guy here has, made it even more abominable with same-sex couples, same-sex marriage, and all that type of stuff. But the point being is that Buenos Aires was this guy's old, stomping grounds, right? When he was Archbishop, I believe, this was his land, right? Or this is the place that he came from, okay? And again, if you're unfamiliar with what the keys represent the power that the Lord bestowed onto Peter to basically bind what he binds here on earth gets bound in heaven, okay? And the halo represents his holiness. Now, what that's interpreted today because of the church is that it basically represents that the church, because again, the way these devils like to frame it is that Peter was the first pope, okay? And he was the first, I guess you'd call him a preacher or a pastor set up by the church, right? That the Messiah, Yahweh Shai, set up upon the earth, okay? This is why Peter was the head. And why is that? Well, because Peter was King David in the reincarnation. Now, these devils like to, build off of that, and they say that Peter started it, and that the Vatican Church continued the rulership that came from Peter. Hence, when you look at the Pope the Pope emblem, it has the two keys, which represents the keys of heaven, or the keys that Yahweh Shai gave onto, or talked about that he gave to Peter. And this can be found in Matthew 16:16. It says, "And Simon Peter answered and said, Thou art the Messiah, the Son of the living God. And Yahushua answered and said unto him, Blessed art thou, Simon Barjona, for flesh and blood hath not revealed it unto thee, but my Father which is in heaven. And I say also unto thee, that thou art Peter, right? Really means stone, right? That thou art stone, and upon this rock I will build my church, and the gates of hell shall not prevail against it. And I will give unto thee the keys of the kingdom of heaven, and whatsoever thou shalt bind on earth shall be bound in heaven, and whatsoever thou shalt loose on earth shall be loosed in heaven. Now, this doesn't mean that the Messiah gave Peter literal keys to get into heaven. No, he gave him the information and that is needed to get into heaven, right? To be, and heaven, by the way, is not some imaginary place up in the clouds with naked babies flying around. No, heaven is a state of rulership that all Israelites are going to make it to. And in fact, everybody's going to make it to, but these other nations are not going to be in rulership in heaven, right? Heaven is simply going to be the earth with a new leadership cast, okay? That leadership is going to be Yahushua ruling along with the Israelites, and we're going to be the ones calling the shots, making sure that everybody's living by the rules of the Lord, okay? And the world's going to be in a heaven-like state. It's going to be Eden again. It's going to be paradise, okay? And the keys to the kingdom of heaven are the laws, statutes, and commandments found in the Bible, properly broken down. See, that's and also the true name of God and the Messiah, that being Yahweh, which is the true name of God, which is Hebrew for He is, and Yahushua, which is the true Hebrew name of the one who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, which is Hebrew for He is salvation. Okay, these are the keys to the kingdom of heaven. Okay, with this information that is given to us, right, and is taught to us, starting with the apostles on down, right, we can have the information needed to make it into the kingdom without having to die. Okay, Lord willing, we're the elect, the 1/3 of our people who are going to be selected to be taken up into the chariots, to be saved from the coming destruction that's going to come upon the earth, right, and namely here in America and the NATO forces. Okay, but that's the keys of the kingdom of heaven. It's not physical keys like what you see pictured here on the Pope emblem. And also, just so that way you know, this crown here represents the crown that the Messiah is going to have, because it's supposed to represent the crowns of the world. Okay, this is why sometimes you see that picture of white Jesus with this silly hat on that has multiple crowns on it. Is because it's supposed to signify when he comes and takes down all these other nations and kingdoms that he's going to be wearing all the crowns. Okay, but again, the Vatican is just a false prophet. They have nothing to do with righteousness. They have nothing to do with the Bible or the Lord, right? These are the adversaries, the enemies of God. So back to the article. It says, the statue of St. Peter on the facade of the sanctuary of Our Lady of the Rosemary of San Nicolas, north of Buenos Aires, had its arm with a key and a halo obliterated by a lightning strike. On Sunday, the 17th of December 2023, a lightning struck the statue of St. Peter on the sanctuary of Our Lady of the Rosary, which is located in the Archdiocese of Buenos Aires, the former diocese of the current Pope Francis. It says, the lightning broke the halo on the head of the Apostle Peter and tore off his right hand holding the key, which Catholics see as a symbol of papal authority. Right? So there you go. See, the Vatican has basically usurped the symbols written in the Bible, and they've taken it onto themselves as to give themselves authority here on the earth. Okay? And the Lord is making it very clear that He is removing any sort of authority that the church has. Right? What does this say? This is Acts 7:48. Howbeit the Most High dwelleth not in temples made with hands, as Seth the prophet, right? And not only that, but the Lord is definitely not going to be, chilling in this house. And why is that? Well, because, first of all, just so that you know where this statue's at, it's right here, okay? Right here on the entrance. That's it. And you can see from this picture, the statue of Peter still has the key and the halo around its head, right? Well, this church, as you heard it, it's called the Church of what? The Lady of the Rosary, right? First of all, rosary is not even biblical. This is a pagan belief. And again, the Lord even said not to worship his mother, right? Let's get that. This is Luke 11:27. And it came to pass, as he spake these things, a certain woman of the company lifted up her voice and said unto him, Blessed is the womb that bare thee, and the paps which thou sucked. Basically saying, like, blessed is the woman who you came from. But what did the Messiah say? But he said, Yea, rather, blessed are they that hear the word of God and keep it. You see that? He said, don't worry about my mom. He's not blessed. Those that are blessed are the people who follow the words of God. So this lady here, and these people here who are worshiping this woman, or should I say this idol, right, which isn't even Virgin Mary. Virgin Mary was not a so-called white or Latina lady. She was a so-called Negro, okay? And this image here, this really represents the pagan worship of Tammuz and Ishtar, okay? The wife of Nimrod. Okay, this right here is blasphemy. Okay, and this whole church being named after this whole thing, what is it called again? Our Lady of the Rosary. Look at that shit, man. That's why this demon statue here is holding this rosary. And that's why the Lord, basically destroyed the keys and the sainthood, mark off of this statue, man, because it was a damn sign. This is 2 Ezra 9:5. For like as all that is made in the world hath a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest, even so the times also of the highest have plain beginnings in wonders and powerful works. Okay, this is when everything starts. It starts with powerful works and wonders. And what do the endings come with? And endings in effects and signs. And every one that shall be saved and shall be able to escape by his works and by faith whereby ye have believed. Right now, we're seeing so many signs and effects coming from the world, the earthquakes in diverse places, the rising up of people around the world, people not regarding their princes nor their kings, famines starting to rise up, nations rising up against other nations. All these things are manifesting. And why? It's because we are at the end, Akim, right? We are at the end. And when the end comes, that's when we start seeing signs. So this here, this statue being obliterated, not only is it a sign that the church is over, but that their rulership, their laws, right, their false premises upon the face of the earth, it's over. The Lord is no longer, dealing with these churches, man. And again, the mere simple fact that these churches have been in power for about over 2,000 years, and none of this truth has come out. People haven't been educated, about the Bible, scriptures. You could talk to any Christian and if you could bear it, a Catholic, and they can't tell you shit about the Bible, man. They can't tell you anything that the Bible is talking about, man, other than John 3:16. Okay, and that God is all love. See, this is what the church has done. It has miseducated the people of the world. This is Jeremiah 23:1. Woe be unto the pastors that destroy and scatter the sheep of my pasture, saith Yahweh. Therefore, thus saith Yahweh, power of Israel, against the pastors that feed my people. Right? And Buenos Aires, Argentina, those are the people of the Lord. See, those are the tribe of Naphtali. Okay? Those are Israelites. And these churches, they're feeding the Israelites lies. Ye have scattered my flock and have driven them away, and have not visited them. Behold, I will visit upon you the evils of your doings, saith Yahweh Bashem Ashai, and I will gather the remnant of my flock out of all countries whither I have driven them, and will bring them again to their folds. And this is what's happening. The Lord is reuniting the Negro, Latino, Native Americans. This is why you're seeing our communities starting to interact more with each other, and you're seeing more events coming that are bringing our people closer and closer together. And they shall be fruitful and increase. Okay, this is why you're seeing the whole, Judite with, Issacharite, and, vice versa. Okay, our people are being brought back together, and we're starting to get these curses lifted off of us. While these other heathen, these Edomites, the Ammonites, the Moabites, all these other nations are starting to get curses put upon them. Just look at the Palestinians, right? The Ishmaelites, right? They're getting screwed over right now because Edom, these so-called Jewish people, are trying to steal all the land of Israel for themselves. Verse 4, and I will set up shepherds over them which shall feed them. That's us, right? That's where we come in, right? Starting with the apostles on down. And they shall fear no more, nor be dismayed, neither shall they be lacking, saith Yahweh Bashem Ashai. See, right now we're giving the Israelites, the Negro, Latino, Native Americans, everything they need to get those keys to the kingdom of heaven, right? To call upon the right names, to understand what it is what sin is, right? To understand what the Bible is actually talking about, right? We're giving people the true baptism by fire, not by dunking them in dirty water, but by giving them the truth of the word that the Lord gave us, and that there is cleaning them from the filth that they've been given through these churches. Me, myself, I was raised Catholic, and I went away from that when I was 12 because I knew it was bullshit back then. And I didn't find my way back to the Bible until I was about like 30, 33. Let's get back to the article and finish it off. It says, for several days, information about the incident which hit the web from an Italian blogger was considered dubious. But later the incident was confirmed by the Catholic priest Justo Lafudo, who published a photo of the statue. The resource notes that the incident occurred on Pope Francis's birthday and the day before the publication of the Fiducia Supplicantes Declaration, which opens up blessings for gay couples. Look at that, man. How is this not a spiritual sign that the church is through? Catholics author Tyler Marshall posted the story on his YouTube channel, commenting that the lightning not only happened during Francis's birthday and one day before the publication of the controversial document Fiducia Supplicantes, but it also in his home diocese. Bergoglio, which is the true name of Pope Francis, was Archbishop and Cardinal of Buenos Aires. Other Catholic resources have also noted that the fact that lightning struck the statue, even though it is only a few meters above the ground, and there are lightning rods high above it on the roof of the church. Exactly. When you look at this, look at this, man. Right? There's lightning rods up here in the very top. So the lightning should have hit these. But why did it come all the way down here to hit this statue? Well, because you see, this statue over here on this side, I'm not sure who this is. Shit, hold on. Salakiakim. This is probably Moses, I'm guessing, right? Because there's a shepherd's staff, right? It looks like. But this statue here has keys. And not only does this statue have keys and the saints, halo over it, but this is within the same city that Pope Francis used to rule over. Okay, what a perfect sign to tell the Vatican that their time is fucking over. Okay, the statue of St. Peter is not at the main entrance, but on the left side of the temple, flanking a side entrance, and St. Paul on the other side. Oh, okay, that was St. Paul, the other statue, on the other side of the same door. The statue of St. Paul, whose sword is also iron, was not affected. Right? And that's you see, as reported, a Catholic priest was excommunicated from the RCC for his words about the usurping Pope. Huh. See, because a lot of people know that this Pope that's in power now, that he's a Jesuit and he's a devil. Okay? So, but yeah, there you go, Akim. That shows you, man, that the Lord is doing a lot of things in this world, man. He's bringing prophecies to pass, and he's giving us signs, right? He's giving, so this right here, think of this as a shot across the bow, right? And what that means is back in the day when you had ships, like pirates and basically just ships, instead of to warn your enemy and not destroy them, you would shoot the cannon over the boat, right? That's a shot across the bow, okay? And that's kind of like a warning shot. And you see this right here, this is a warning shot to all these people that are in these churches, right? All our people. So all you Christians, Catholics, Jehovah's Witness, if you watch these videos, you better understand that this is not a man-made religious thing. This is about a heritage, okay? And if you're caught in these churches worshiping these idols and you're an Israelite, you are in trouble. That's all I'm going to say, okay? I'm going to say it nicely. You're going to be in trouble, okay? This is Jeremiah 23 and 21. I have not sent these prophets, yet they ran. I have not spoken to them, yet they prophesied. But if they had stood in my counsel and had caused my people to hear my words, then they should have turned them from their evil ways and from their evil doings. And that's what it is, man. See, these churches are not there to get people to stop doing evil. No, they're there to keep people in their sins. And again, what is sin? Sin is transgressing of the laws, right? This is why these churches never teach you that, man. It tells you that in 1 John, that sin is transgression of the laws that the Lord gave us. Okay, this is why the church right there will read one or two scriptures, go on for an hour or two about their feelings, and then after Mass, go on to pass out ham sandwiches and shrimp cocktails. Okay? This place is wicked, and these churches around the world, they've been set up to deceive the masses. So either way, Akim, hopefully this video was edifying. Until next time, I want to give all honor and glory and praises to Yahweh B'Hashem El Shai B'Hashem Ruach HaKodesh. Shalom.